Hello everybody, it's Chrissy from Chrissy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here with a fun scrap lift that I am doing with Khristina and Megan, and we both really loved this layout and wanted to scrap lift it, and the goal was to post them last Friday, and I am super late to the party because I procrastinated. I tried to get this layout done and it wasn't really working for me. Last week was like that no good, terrible, horrible, anything that could go wrong went wrong type of week, and scrapping just didn't happen as much as I wanted it to. So it took me a little bit longer to get the layout actually done. And then I had a bunch of other videos up and ready to go. So it's now Wednesday, the following week, and I am just getting this up. So sorry guys, but I know everyone understands how those weeks go, and I just feel bad for Khristina and Megan because they did their layouts, and poor Khristina posted on Friday like we were supposed to, and she was the only one that did it correctly. So she gets brownie points. Anyways, let's talk about this layout here. So I am taking a little bit of a different perspective on this layout, just kind of the way it fell into place. I am using a bunch of different products from Chamel Little by Little collection. Some of it is Little by Little. That piece of background paper with the wood grain, I don't believe is. I think that's from one of her first lines. And what I decided to do is the scallops that are on this original layout that you saw at the beginning have three like banners. And so I took this piece of 6x6 paper, and they had circles, the fun floral circles, and I just cut them all out and cut them in half, and I made my banners with them, and I love the way this turned out. It's really neat. And what I end up doing is picking this photo that I have already scrapped. I did a layout with it for a paper issues challenge, and I really loved the challenge, and I had fun creating the layout, but as I'm looking at it in my album, it's not going together, and I had created a 6x12, and 9x12 layout, and it just wasn't working. So I decided to create this with a 12x12 feel instead. And I'm just going to do a little tiny bit of mixed media. I just wanted a little bit of texture there. And so you can see I'm only adding gesso to just the very back where I'm planning on doing my mixed media. I really didn't plan on doing much. Otherwise, I would have completely covered the whole place. I ended up using some texture paste with some of this really pretty acrotones from the shimmers, and I'm not exactly sure what color it is, but you can see it's a teal color, and it makes it teal on teal there. And then I'm going to line up my banners, thinking I'm pretty sure this is the way it's going to go. Maybe just do a small border, but not exactly sure what I want to do. And as I find the paper I want to use with my border, you're going to see the whole layout kind of just goes completely wonky, but like in the best way possible. I really actually that's not a word. I really actually love the way that this layout turns out. I am looking to see if there is anything, if I should add another like layer behind this photo. That doesn't end up happening. I do think about it. I was actually going to use two photos here because I have this photo that was also taken. It was originally our last photo that I was going to use as our last photo, and instead changed my mind, and we took a photo on the way to the hospital instead. And these are the last photos of us as a family of 3. So what I ended up doing is because I've already scrapped this, I have my journaling card, and there's nothing on the back of it. So that other photo, that wasn't even a very high quality photo anyways, Jackson didn't want to sit still for it. So I'm just using that to back, and it's going to, when you pull out my journaling, you can see that photo as well. And it works because it all kind of falls in line. That photo that's the really blurry one was actually taken the night before we got the phone call. And the photo that you see that I've now switched into black and white instead of colored was taken while we were literally just pulling out to drive to the hospital for me to be induced. And Nora came that same day. So that was pretty special. So here you go. I have decided I'm going to back my photos in one way or another, this whole layout, just for a little bit of a grounding piece. And I'm going to just trim just a few pieces here. I think I do an inch off of like both sides. I do a full inch at the bottom and then a half an inch on each side. And then you're gonna see I place it on the paper, and I don't know what made me think to do this, but it ends up just being a completely different, unique type of layout where it's just on a diagonal that I don't know, I just really liked the placement of it, and so I went with it. And I didn't like I had cut too much off to be a full-on border there, and that's kind of where it came from. So I'm like, oh, this isn't working, I cut too much, how do you add more back? And you know, I wasn't sure, and then I accidentally slit it like that, and I was like, oh wait, that looks really cool, why don't I just do that? But the paper I'm using right here, the back of it is the pink floral that is so pretty from the Little by Little, and I did not want to waste, I wanted to keep as much of it as possible because who wants to waste that beautiful floral? So I ended up cutting this really funny half type circle thing, and it made my diagonal even sharper than I had originally expected, but I love it. I like it. So I turned everything that was on it. Sorry, I've been interrupted. I put everything on its side, diagonal, so everything else kind of has to now go along with that diagonal. It was easy. I only really had my photo stuck down. Everything else kind of did exactly what I wanted it to do. But again, I love the way this turns out. So other than the banners and I guess the mixed media behind my photo, I didn't really follow the layout that much. I just kind of took on the banners from it. That's okay though. I end up using two of the same words from my original layout, which are photo together, but instead of using last, I end up using the word lovely in gold. I want to tie in another color, and I really love how the Y kind of circles down by the other two layouts, by the other two alphas, so that they kind of combine themselves together. And then I want something up at the top. I'm not exactly sure what, but something needs to go up there. It's missing something. It's too bottom heavy. And what I end up deciding to do is cut a little bit of this border strip from the sticker sheet and cut a little banner out of it. I'm going to lay that up there, and I love that. But then I'm stuck. I have no idea where to go from here. No idea. So I had to walk away from it for the night and come back. I kind of texted Khristina about it, and I was like, what do you think I should do? And she's like, you need black and floral. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And what ends up happening is I find another little card so I can write just a small tidbit of journaling that just says our last photo together. And then the floral piece, and then if you want to read more in depth to the journaling, you can pull out that tab. And I love the way that turns out. And then the final pieces for embellishment wise, I'm adding these two chipboard pieces by my photo. I love that. That kind of just helps. I don't know. I love floral. That chipboard floral that's in all of Maggie Holmes' collections, they're just so beautiful. So that gets added. I had this 3 that was in my original layout, and that gets added. And really that about does it. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Bye!